For a Frenchman of my age, I'm born in '49, after the Second World War. The first environment I lived in was coming out from my parents' experience, the fact that we were in the aftermath of the Second World War, and when I was born, the living in France was still a little difficult. It was hard time for French and for all European people. And as you very well know, thanks to the Marshall Plan, we developed rather rapidly, and we recovered the growth and the state of wealth we had before the Second World War. But it lasted at least 15, 20 years, up to the 60s. And the 60s were really the time when Europe recovered completely. It was very much marked by the Beatles in the UK, the pop music, which you very well know and remember. And the European Union, in fact, started at the same time. If you remember, the Rome Treaty was signed in 57. So the 60s were the start of the European Union. At the time, it was the marché commun, the common market. So it was limited to economic ground. But in fact, it created a very positive environment for the development of each European country. And you must also remember that at the time Germany was divided. And the mentality of the French at the time is very much reflected in a reflection of a French writer named François Mauriac. I don't know if you know it. It was, I love so much Germany that I wish there would be three of them. Of course, for France, it was a good period of time because it was clearly the leader in Europe. Germany was divided. The UK was recovering also rather slowly from the Second World War, which hit them very, very much. And the government at the time, if you remember, there was a very socialist government, which didn't help them very much in developing the country. The Thatcher times came only in the 80s. So in the 60s and the 70s, in France, there was a lot of optimism. And with de Gaulle, with Pompidou, with Giscard, and even with the early Mitterrand, the French didn't ask themselves many questions. In fact, they considered themselves as leaders in Europe. After that, in the 80s, during the reign of François Mitterrand, during the reign of the socialists, there began to be a slow economic decline due to the socialization of the economy. And all of a sudden came the breakdown of the Berlin Wall in '89, which created a completely new environment in Europe with a united Germany. And with time, it took a lot of time because in Germany, the Germans had to solve their own problems between West and Eastern Germany, which are not completely solved today. But nevertheless, they recovered rapidly, and due to their size, due to the number of their population, and due to their natural industry, which they inherited from a long history, in fact, they became more or less leaders in European economy. But whether they are the leaders in political terms is debatable, because even with Angela Merkel, which is a very good chancellor, you don't see the Germans wanting too much to lead Europe. Because of the past, because of the history, they are very cautious. And if you consider the recent bad relationship with the Poles and what the Poles are saying against Germany, I think they are reasonable to be cautious. And so for France and for UK and also for Italy and Spain, there is a room to play, and there is no natural leader in Europe today. There are 5 major countries competing with each other to take leadership, but it's a game.